Welcome. In front of me is a POCO F8 Ultra, and today I'll show you how you can enable and set up your portable hotspot. So, to get started, you will want to swipe down from the top right side of the screen, like so, and this will pull down all the toggles that I have access to. Now we're looking for the hotspot toggle, which I don't think is added by default, so let's add it by clicking on the edit button right here, and you should be able to see it somewhere below here. No, there we go, it's right over here. When I click on the plus, as you can see, just kind of drifts over to the top, and we can now just click on the check mark, and we have it right here. I do recommend trying to remember how it looks like, as there is no labels right here. But anyway, once you see this chain link icon, you can hold it. And I do recommend holding it the first time, as this will take you to the settings. Now here you want to select Setup Portable Hotspot, and start off by changing the god-awful password. As you can see, it is a randomly generated password. So to make it simple, we're just going to completely get rid of it, and then set up our new one. It will need to have at least 8 characters in length. 1 through 8 is good enough for me. And you can also change other things, like, for instance, the AP band right here. It is set to 2.4, but you can also change it to 5. Now, to kind of go a little bit into more detail with this option, if you don't know what this is, I recommend keeping it at 2.4. The only time I would recommend changing it, and this is with a caveat, is if you live in a very densely populated area, maybe something like New York City. 2.4 gigahertz network might be super crowded, and because of that, your personal hotspot might also just kind of struggle to keep the connection to other devices, right? Basically, the broadcasting could suffer a little bit. So in this case, you could change it to 5 gigahertz, but just keep in mind, by changing it to 5, you get supposedly the faster and more stable connection, primarily the more stable one. Faster doesn't really matter here, it's a mobile network. So that's a benefit, but devices that don't support 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi simply will not see this hotspot at all. So when you switch to this and you can't find your hotspot on whatever device you're using, like a laptop or whatever, to connect to this with, because, I don't know, it's just not showing up in there, it might mean that that device is just old and it doesn't support the 5 gigahertz, so you would need to go back to 2.4. Now, the other options that you probably used to already heard will be things like that 5 gigahertz is a newer, faster, allows more connections and whatever, right? It's a mobile hotspot. It literally doesn't matter at all. You're primarily going to be limited by your mobile network speed, which I can safely assume, at least in 2025, a lot of the world, even the super developed countries, don't have very fast mobile networks. So I live in Poland, where we do have a pretty good internet. Like, I can easily have like 2 gigabit internet at home, which is what some companies run. Fraction of the cost what, for instance, Canadians would need to pay for half of that at least. And same thing goes for mobile network. On my phone, I get 60 megabits for about 10 bucks, 20. I think it's more like 20 bucks. Now, I'm pretty sure Canadians don't have that. And a lot of the world has also monthly cap on how much data on your phone you can use. So, for instance, in my case, I have 60 just permanently. I don't have a cap. I can just continuously use it, kind of like you would do with a home network. But just note, a lot of people watching this right now, you probably have a cap of something like, I don't know, 10 gigs. And you might want to be very kind of concerned about this and maybe set up a limit for how much data you can use, which would be for your SIM card options and like mobile data. So you could set that up just so you don't exceed, because sometimes when you exceed it, depending on your contracts and all that stuff, you might be charged extra. And at that point, you're being charged like extra. So in this cases, I recommend checking what your contract is, adjusting for this specific kind of thing, and then dealing with your hotspot. Anyway, let's click on the check mark with that being said. And this, going back to here, right here, we also have the turn off hotspot automatically option checked on. It's the only thing I want to talk about right here. And this is a neat option to have enabled. It basically keeps the hotspot enabled as long as you are connected to it. But the moment you disconnect from that hotspot, it will start a countdown and then turn it off. Now, the reason this is nice is because hotspot does consume more of your phone's battery, so when you're done using it, it's pretty beneficial for you to not have it run in the background for no reason. And the way this works is through connection, which is nice. There are other ones that basically work based on a timer of inactivity. That is a little bit less nice. This option here is much better. As the moment you disconnect, which typically happens, for instance, if you're using a laptop, is when you close the laptop, you will then disconnect. This is a pretty definitive point where you're done using it, so your phone will know. And I consider this to be a good option, but if for some reason you find that your hotspot turns off on its own when you still are using it somehow, then you might want to turn this option off. Anyway, once everything is set, we can just find this toggle, tap on it to turn it on, and you're good to go. Once you're done using it, you can also turn it off yourself. You don't need to wait for that automatic turn off thing. You can just do it by clicking on this toggle for the second time, and you can see it turns it off. So with that being said, hopefully you found this very helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.